So today I'm back with the Season 1 review for my FC 25 career mode with Bromley, and I want to get started by showing you the results of the Player of the Season poll. So these are the results, with Carlton first, Wright second, Davies third, and Clark fourth. So what I'm going to do for the potential boosts, for this Player of the Season vote, and for when I give my Players of the Season, I'm going to give potential boosts in order of who got the most votes or who was voted higher up in the list to who was voted lower down, and each person will get a boost inverse of where they are in the list. So for example, Carlton was top of a list of 4, so he'll get a potential boost of +4, and Wright was bottom, so he'll get a potential boost of +1. And now I've gone through that, let's look at the whole team's stats for the season. Then after that, I'll tell you who my Players of the Season are. So Brahim Hassan and Emmanuel John, both with the joint top appearances with 52. Johnston also has 52, but 2 of them are friendly matches, and I don't count them. So Hassan and John are my top appearance makers. Then if we go to the bottom, we have Gray, who has 2 appearances, and I don't remember actually ever bringing him on in the Bristol Street Motors Trophy. So when I played him in the last game of the season, because I thought he hadn't played, apparently he already had. And if I scroll up through the rest of the team, you can see how many appearances all of them have in between the top and the bottom appearance makers. Then if we go on to goals, Sigurda Karlsson is the top scorer with 22 goals, all in the league. And 22 goals with 48 appearances, not a bad return. In the league, that's basically a goal every other game. Although he did get 7 in the last episode, which will skew it a bit. I think he did have 3 hat-tricks. But that's a pretty good recovery after he had a whole period, like just before the middle of the season, where he didn't really score any goals. So he recovered well. Watts and Wright are my joint second top scorers, both with 7. And I'm surprised at Watts. I didn't realise he actually had so many. Not surprised by Wright, he's had quite a lot, but I didn't realise Watts only had 7. Then Clark and Davies, both joint on 5. And honestly, I've got hopes for Davies. He's not there yet, but I think he will be. Because during that period of the season where Carlton wasn't playing good, Davies came in, and he has like that natural instinct of a striker. His runs are really good. He gets into some great positions. His technical stats just aren't there yet. So hopefully, give it a couple of seasons, Davies will be a good player. And I'm hoping I can send him out on loan next year. I'm hoping I can get a striker in the free agents and send Davies out on loan to let him develop a bit more. But then we got Johnston with 3 goals, a couple of them from corners, and then one was in the final game of the season where he ran from the halfway line. Then Hassan and Barry Orr both with 2. Then Pugh, Cartwright and Summers all have 1 goal. Then if we look at the assists, Clark is top with 11. It's not surprising playing at Cam, but it doesn't feel like he should be that high. I feel like Clark, for someone of his overall on our team, I feel like he should have played a lot better over the course of the season. But still not too bad. He still played okay. Then Watts has 9 assists from out wide. So him and Clark look like the main creators. Everyone else doesn't really have as many assists. Then Shevchuk, Carlton, Shevchenko and Cartwright all with 4 assists. And I was impressed with Shevchuk being able to drive forward from defence midfield and make those assists. If you haven't been able to tell from a lot of my commentary during the season, I do quite like Shevchuk. Then Wright with 3 assists. Orr, Pugh, Mitchell and Davies all getting 2. And then Andrade with 1 assist. I've been very disappointed by Andrade this season. I think my disappointment in him might be skewed by how impressed I am by Shevchuk, because they're both the same overall, but Shevchuk is just miles better. I think Andrade actually plays like a 55, which I think is why I'm disappointed in him. Shevchuk plays like he's 10 overall above of where he actually is. So if we go to clean sheets, I'll only really pay attention to the defensive players here. So Maric, Hassan and John all getting 28, because they all started a lot of games. Then 3 along with Johnston were basically my mainstay defense for the whole season. Although Johnston's only got 25, which is interesting. But I think he was the one I subbed off the most. But then Davies getting 26 clean sheets in the net. Not surprised, he's an absolute monster in goal. Davies is ridiculous. And I never noticed, he's 6'8". No wonder he's so good. He can reach the whole net without moving. I never realised he was 6'8". And then Shevchuk has 20 clean sheets. Orr's got 18. Andrade, Mitchell and Bradley both with 5. And Daniel Hassan with 4 in only 8 appearances, which is pretty impressive. And then Jimenez gets 3. And Sean Lambert did play a few games as well, but I'm not able to check his because he's out on loan. Now I want to just show you some of the top average ratings of the players. So Clark was the highest on a 7.68. And I'm kind of surprised by that, but considering his stats, 5 goals, 11 assists, it's not surprising, but I feel like he hasn't played as well as a 7.68 across the season. And then second top, which does actually really surprise me, is Barry Orr with a 7.52. But he has been very solid in midfield, so that's less of a surprise to me than Clark getting 7.68. And then third is Davies on a 7.26, and this isn't a surprise at all. He was making saves left, right and centre all the time. He's such a good keeper, Davies is, so that's not a surprise. And then fourth highest was David Shevchuk with a 7.13, and that's not a surprise to me. He's been one of my favourite players this season. He's always really solid in that midfield, and he's so agile and he's good at dribbling. He can just take it past anyone and just move the ball to other players, so that's not a surprise to me. And then the final player with a rating over 7 is Brahim Hassan with a 7.05, and I've been kind of underwhelmed by him this season. He's been decent, but for someone with such a high overall in our team and in League 2, I feel like he should have performed better, but he's been okay. Then we'll just go through the rest of the starting 11 quick. John got a 6.68, Johnston got a 6.91, Maric got a 6.83. Wright got a 6.56, which is actually surprisingly low, to be honest. Carlson got a 6.98. Watts got a 6.9. Cartwright got a 6.24. Davies got a 6.24. Mitchell got a 6.65. Shevchenko got a 6.91. Bradley got a 6.51. Pugh got a 6.12. Andrade got a 6.72. Summers got a 6.14. Daniel Hassan got a 6.58. And Jimenez got a 7.02. And now I'm going to go through my top 5 players of the season and how I'm going to allocate the potential boost for this. First place will get +5. Fifth place will get +1. So in 5th place in my player of the season, I'm going with Lucas Wright. And this 5th place was pretty difficult for me to choose. 1 through 4, not too difficult, but 5th was a tough one. It was between Wright, Carlson, and Johnston. Johnston was going to be my pick for a lot of the season, but after about halfway or 2/3 of the season, he'd started playing a bit poorly. He was really solid before that, but he just didn't carry it through the whole season. And Carlson, he had episodes where he'd score a lot of goals all in one go, but then he'd have patches where he didn't really score any or didn't score many. So he's a bit too inconsistent for me. And then with Wright, I feel like he's just been solid the whole season. He's been a good option for me, getting the ball out wide and then running it inside or something like that. So he's been decent for me, so Wright is in 5th place. And then 4th place, I've got Barry Orr. Big Barry is just solid. He's a good tackler, he's strong, he's versatile, and he's good in the air. He's just a very solid player. And then in 3rd place, I've got Emmanuel John. And he's someone you probably wouldn't have thought of because he won't get included in the episodes much because he's a right back and he just sort of does his job. He wins the ball a lot, cuts up the play a lot, and just passes it on to other players. I have my fullbacks on a fullback duty as opposed to wingback, so he doesn't get forward much either, so he's not involved in the attacks too much. So he's not someone you would have seen too much, but for me, I think he's really good. So he's in 3rd place. Then in 2nd place is Lloyd Davies, because he's just so solid in the net. He's been mentioned twice already in this video how good he is, so I don't really need to go over it again. And you will have seen from the episodes why he is 2nd in my player of the season. He's just a really good goalkeeper. And then coming in 1st place is David Shevchuk. I just love this little guy. He plays like a player so much better than his 55 overall. He does have shortcomings, but there's such a good player in there. If I can grow him in the right areas, because he does have a pretty low potential, so this potential boost will help him. But if I can grow him in the right areas, he can be a really good player, even though his overall might be a bit lower. So he comes in 1st place in my player of the season. And now before I go into my games of the season and my goals of the season, just want to look at some of the other leagues and competitions. So Arsenal won the Premier League, with Ipswich, Bournemouth and Leicester getting relegated. Luton and Burnley got promoted from the Championship, and one of Hull, Sheffield United, Leeds and Norwich will be joining them. And Derby, Sheffield Wednesday and Oxford got relegated, so we will be playing them next season. And Birmingham and Bolton got promoted from League One, and one of Peterborough, Barnsley, Charlton and Blackpool will be joining them. And Cambridge, Shrewsbury, Stockport and Crawley got relegated. And if I just remind you of our league table, we won the league and Bradford and Colchester will be joining us in League One. And Fleetwood will be joining us because they won the playoff final 2-0 over Swindon. And Man United won the FA Cup, Man City won the Carabao Cup, and Man City won the Champions League final against Lombardia. Who the hell are they? Right, it's Inter Milan. It's just because EA doesn't have the licensing for the Italian teams. Porto won the Europa League, and Real Betis won the Conference League. And now I've done all of that, it's time to present my top 3 goals of the season. And coming in 3rd is this volley from Carlson. But it's so congested, barely any space to work with. Gonna play it across to Shevchuk. There's plenty on the wings, but the wings doesn't really work for me, but now I can play it through to Carlson. That's a good ball. Carlson with a shot. What a finish from Carlson. Hit it on the half volley. Just let it bounce up. Let it bounce quite high. Cuts across it, and that's a great volley into the left-hand side of the net. And Carlson makes it 2-1. Just as I was saying, it was congested in the middle and couldn't get any chances. Clark plays it through, and then Carlson hits a shot like that. What a strike from Carlson. Just lets it bounce up, cuts across it. Almost reminiscent of Benjamin Pavard in the 2018 World Cup. Obviously not as impressive, but the way he cuts across it and the curve he gets on it, that's a good goal. And coming in 2nd is a solo goal from Pugh. First time I've had the ball in their half. And Pugh's gone on a good run with it. Take it past one final defender there. Pugh's going to go all the way here. Pugh with a chance to finish, and Pugh does finish. What a goal from Pugh. He, out of nothing, has just got us right back in this game. What a solo goal by Gavin Pugh. He did so well. He got body checked there, but he still kept the ball. Took a touch inside there and curls it round the keeper. It's a good finish. Everyone tried to stop him there, but no one could. And that is now 1-1 with a superb solo goal from Gavin Pugh. And coming in first in the goal of the season is this long-range strike from Clark. Gonna run it as far as I can and then try and get a 1-2 with Carlson here. And Carlson can play it down the line to Wright. He did have to slow down a little bit, but Wright can play it across to Clark now, and Clark can shoot. What a strike from Clark! Right into the top corner. That is some strike, and I've been trying to score a goal like that all series. Now I think I've finally scored one from outside the box. I think that might be the first one, and what a strike it was. Just laid it back to him with Wright, and then Clark with one touch out of his feet and then the strike. What a strike it was. And that is 1-0 now. And now to finish the season, I'll leave you with the scenes of the teams celebrating winning the league with the fans.